Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I am joined by two guests. You've probably seen them on my Instagram. So without further ado, Tej, Shaz, my broker. Welcome. Can you quick intro Shaz and then we'll do Tej after.
Yeah, cheers for having me, Alfred. I'm Shaz. On socials, it's @Where's Shaz, and I'm a commercial mortgage broker.
I'm Tej. I'm a property investor, author, and podcaster, and public speaker.
Mate, this guy's got a long list, bro.
Can I also add?
I could go on, but I won't do the Clubhouse bio. I'll keep it there. I've got a property portfolio and I flip stuff. And yeah,
he does everything. I think Shaz, come back to you. Let's pick up a bit more.
I'm international public
Wales and
international. Wales and England.
You crossed the border. You think?
I'm also a published author. I've been in your book 3 pages. I wrote in your book.
Actually, we're both in your book. We're now published authors as well. So all
published authors, yeah.
So I'm published author. I'll add that as well. Thanks.
Best-selling.
Cool. All right. So first we want to discuss. So this is going to be like more of a conversation topic, kind of bounce ideas off each other. So private lending and versus the commercial stuff. Thoughts on that? What do you prefer doing? Mixture of both? How do you structure your deals? With Tej, we'll start with you.
I think I always prefer working with a person because if I can give a person an interest, I can give them some money. It's a lot more meaningful than giving a faceless corporation money. I know someone's getting the money, but it just feels more personal and it's a lot easier. You know, like working with someone, you don't have to go through the, as you were going to talk about endless solicitor stuff, endless deeds of this, deeds of that to
documents.
sign. And you've been through it as well, like crystallization, it's just like, you're just making stuff up now. So it's just a lot easier.
Tell the lenders that. Tell the lenders Tej said they're making stuff up now.
Literally just making stuff up. So it's a lot easier to just work with a human because, yeah, there's none of this jumping through hoops. There is some and there should be, but as you know from working with investors, so much more straightforward.
Is there not a risk though that perhaps with the investors, although whilst they want the return on their money, because their main thing isn't investing, probably they might have cold feet last minute, be like, I need my money back.
Yes.
There's always that. I've had that.
Yeah.
Have you had that?
Yeah, I've had the investors say they will lend the money and literally on the week of completion, come to like send the money over and it's like, oh Alfred, sorry, something's come up, I can't lend the funds to you anymore. I made a whole YouTube video about this, raising like, it was like odd 100 grand last minute and luckily, yeah, I can tap to other people to kind of get the funding. But let's say I couldn't, I would have lost all of the fees I would have paid.
You're financially committed.
Yeah, I'm literally week of completion. My solicitor's fees, lender solicitors,
You broke the
surveys, all of that stuff. So yeah, I think it's a hard one, but I do agree with Tej. I would prefer, because I made a post recently where I said, guys, I've got an opportunity whereby I'm not using a bridge lender on this property purchase I'm doing a key undertaking. So I'm giving an opportunity to someone who wants to potentially earn interest on the refurb side of things, lend me the refurb amount and they can get paid in interest rather than me go and do the bridging and get development finance and pay the interest to a bridging lender. And in effect as well, I'm actually giving the seller part of the interest and fees I would have paid to a bridge lender and in effect overpaid on this property purchase to kind of give the win-win scenario.
I think if you can get full funding from an investor, so purchase and refurb, that's the ideal scenario. But when you're mixing
and
it, and fees.
Gold standard.
But if you're having to mix it in with a lender, I think that's when you lose a bit of control. Like say if you're an investor, where have they got their money from? Because that question gets asked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you
I think that's the biggest.
It's funny though
thing.
because
So guys,
I've never been asked this. I know you and me speaking about this. I've never been asked. Although obviously it should be asked.
Yes.
Some lenders are just a bit more relaxed about things, it seems. And maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's because using the same one over and over.
And I think just to protect yourself on the back end, if you've gone down the route of getting this stranger who's lending you money, great, done the deal, got nice properties, now income producing even, if for whatever reason that person can't show the full trail to satisfy the lender's requirement, because you're trying to refinance or pay back their money, then where do you go next? You got to find a lender that's happy to kind of work with you and not maybe ask too many questions.
Yeah.
Because there are some, mate, I had one guy, I think it was like 50 grand. And they wanted, so he had 3 months bank statements, standard sent over to approve funds. And because there was not much movement in their account, they wanted to see a further history. So
the ultimate source of funds, yeah.
So 12 months kind of showing the trace of how that money came into that account, which I get it, but it's like,
it makes, especially for anti-money laundering, like when we're borrowing money, we ask certain questions and we need certain things because who's to say it's not narco-trafficked? Who's to say it's not? You know what I mean? Yeah, we have no idea where this. I often give it to my solicitors because then it sits under their insurance, which is kind of a good thing to do. But you know what you said about it not being secure? 100% agree with you. One thing I have done before is as soon as they've agreed to lend, I don't say, we'll wait to completion. Maybe because I buy at auction a lot, I say tomorrow, let's get it transferred. I'll pay you a month extra interest just to be like, please, we got it.
literally, I always say this: until the money's in the bank, you have not done the deal. And I've learned the hard way, and trust me, I'd rather pay. I don't care whatever the month's interest I'm paying, just to know that the money's there. I can utilize the money as and when I want to use it, rather than kind of rely on the investor's word or even them. I've even had one where they've signed the loan agreement, and it's like, okay, it's like they need to retract because they can't fulfill the requirement anymore. So it's like, what do I do then? So it's like it's a bit of an awkward thing. I'm like, I'm not gonna.
It's not much you can do.
Yeah, because the money's not in my account yet. So on the agreement clearly states once it's in my account, obviously, for the duration of the term. But obviously, even in that scenario, I would try my best to try and help the investor out, but I'm not obliged to do so. Do you know what I mean?
No, of course. It's signed. I think but that is also a thing where if like a bridging lender generally won't come to you a month forward and say, "Oh, I need a couple of quid, can I have it back?" But a human might.
Because the bridging lender's in the business of lending money for that deal. Now,
exactly.
In terms of security, then, so say if you've got a fully funded investor who's the whole deal, you could offer them the property as a charge.
Yeah.
With a lender, you can't because lenders generally don't like a second charge behind them.
I don't think there's any lender.
So what security would you offer someone for a large amount of money? It's an unsecured loan, basically, isn't it?
Someone actually asked this question on this deal that I'm trying to raise. Is that happy to lend you the whole 110k? Can I get a charge? And because, strictly speaking, I haven't bought the property yet, it's not possible for me to offer a charge. So literally, this is you trusting me with your funds and you getting to return this money. And I kind of went down the second option of, okay, can we do a lesser amount and not have the charge if that's your ultimate kind of decision point for you to do the deal? And then kind of having to think about that and to kind of come back to whether they're happy to kind of do 50k on a fixed return over a period of time. So that's your next best. I don't know.
I think it also depends on the person. Like some people will come and say, "Oh, I've got 10 grand. I want 20%." They're like, "Bruv, go home, get out my DM, go speak to Shaz or something. Just go ask him about mortgages." Like people like that. All I say bluntly is, look, it does not make sense. And they may not know enough about property, but you have to be realistic. And that, I've done charges. I do charges. They cover the whole amount. Like you said, it's not really possible. You can do like restrictions, RX1s. You can do personal guarantees if you have personal assets. Otherwise, they're pretty worthless. Which investors, look at these things. You can do like deeds of trust. There's other little things you can do, but I said there is trust. A lot of it at that level comes down to trust. However, because I was speaking to Foundation, one of the lenders we've used quite heavily before, and I was like, hey, if I wanted a second charge on some of the mortgage properties, they were like, yeah, you've got to pay us like 20 quid admin fee and yeah, we'll do it, it's no problem. I was like, okay. So when you have a portfolio, there is stuff available if you want to. It doesn't bother me because it's going to be a good deal. We know what we're doing.
One question. I've said this very boldly, but second charge, worth something, worth nothing. What do you think?
I think, really, unless there's super equity in that property, is worthless. Because the mortgage lender will say, right, we were at 60k, chuck it on for 65. Second charge on your bike.
Exactly. That's another thing I explain to my investors. Like, look, guys, I appreciate you feel some sort of security with having a second charge because legally it was there, blah, blah. But in a case where something does go left, I'm not legally buying to this. You've got a second charge. If the lender repossesses the property for whatever reason and they were to sell it at a discount, because that's what the reason why they do that loan to value as a risk appetite thing, and they sell it for literally what they need to sell it for to get their money back, your money's gone and I have no involvement. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want to, I'd rather me say I'm liable to that fund by a form of personal guarantee loan agreement and you can personally come after me to actually recoup the funds back. Obviously nobody likes to go to court, but you actually have more of a chance of getting something back that way than the first charge.
You've got attachment of earnings, you've got CC, all the stuff that they can get you for the next 6 years. So,
exactly.
PGs are powerful in some ways.
And what I would say, just for new people starting out, if you are looking at lending and getting also private investors, is especially on your first 1 or 2 deals, is you've got to put something in yourself. They call it skin in the game.
Yes.
Lenders don't like it. If you're putting nothing in, there's just more questions.
You're working with the wrong lenders, boy. My lenders don't give a...
Well...
it depends who you're speaking to. I think after a while, I think starting out, most will ask for some sort of skin in the game. Ones that like obtain money first, when we first did the first deal with them, they said, oh, we need something from you. But after a while, we got creative.
Now they get it.
We got creative the structure and they just 100% lending from there.
It's trust, isn't it? Trust is essential of all of this.
No, but you see a lot of newbies going, I'm putting nothing in, I've got no assets, I've got no asset liabilities, and all this money's from someone else. Well, okay, cool. Like, why, what are you there in the middle for?
It's a strange one because lenders, right, and I think we've spoken about this, their view is, well, if your money's not in it, you don't care. You can just run off to Magaluf and you don't care. Which is true, but I think I always kind of, like, you know, we think the same. Is like we think, well, hold on a minute. Exactly, it's not my money. It's even more important
that
my
I
money.
keep them. Yeah.
But I suppose like the easy, dodgy way is to say, well, I'm off. You know what I mean? Which I get. I kind of get.
I kind of get.
But it doesn't process because we put it above, you know, our own money.
Yeah.
We can lose our own money.
Ethics,
That's what it is. Like, it's fine.
All right, guys, let's move on to something else. So, I want to talk about power of networking. Actually, quickly, I know me and you met through...
through Mr. Adam Rana, yeah.
Is that how you guys met? Through Adam?
Yeah. Took us to some weird back alley shisha bar.
Ordered some burgers, and the burgers came, and I was like...
Oh, man. It was rough. Like, it was rough food. It was just...
Would I enjoy it?
No. It was rougher than Shazra. Okay. It was literally like, here's like a bird's eye chicken fillet, slap a burger. It just looked like it got regurgitated. It was not
we met at one of these McSquills like 2 years ago.
Yeah, one that Tej.
Yeah,
I organised as a founding member.
When you were organising, and then when did we meet? It was at, I remember now, it was at this...
It was a networking event. You came up to me, you were begging for my business. Oh, can I do your mortgages? Can I do...
Oh, wow.
That's very like me. Actually, I remember I had to leave early.
Might be the way around.
Carl Matthews' South Wales property event. And there's a dog running around. I was really uncomfortable. I had to go. Yeah.
I remember the dog. Oh, the dog was so cute.
Yeah. So it's all through networking, wasn't it? That's
through networking. Cool. And now you've done all my deals, and you're broker as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to the guy to go to.
Guys, it's weird. Like, it's weird. Like yesterday, so we had a McSquill yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I think I'd say at least half the people I've worked with. At
least he's claiming the time.
I'm pretty modest, humble. Humility is a good skill to have.
He's making money off us, guys. Oh no, it's good. He does a good job. So yeah.
And we refer you to people, and you continue to do a good job, right?
Yeah, so networking is important. But I think I was speaking to people before, and at an advanced level, we kind of don't do a lot of networking on social media. Like, oh well, what's in it for us? Why should we go? And I'm like, well, flip it around. There's one of you, and there's like 50 other people. So what value can you give them? You know, if you're at a stage where you think you can't benefit, well, maybe you can give value. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we can always benefit as well. That's the wrong view. Like, even if you've done 150 new builds, you can still learn from one of us about social media, about brokerage, about something else, about raising finance. You can still learn. Because I speak to people, I've built, 10-bedroom new builds and all this stuff. They're like, but what's BRR?
Yeah.
Like, and so it's mad that you think like, oh no, but you're doing all this, but
you must know, you
don't.
Some people in the space they don't informed.
They don't know it
because you've gone back to not square one, but you've switched from BRR Valley stuff down to developments now. So, kind of a learning curve, I guess, for you. Or?
It is a learning curve, I think, and that's where networking comes in. Because how have I learned what I'm learning, and how have I learned kind of what not to do and what to do? Obviously from my own experience. But so much from being like texting someone saying, hey, this is wrong with the bricks, tell me about this, or we haven't got any foundations here, what should we do? Mm-hmm. That's the way I learn, even with builders, like standing behind them, like they're laying some blocks next door to mine. I was like, teach me how to lay blocks. I want to understand how it's done.
I wouldn't go that far, that kind of level. I'm not that guy.
I would be wearing gloves. My hands are too soft for that bare stuff. But that's from people, right?
Yeah. And what about like your team, your architect,
Yeah, I think obviously that's for me, I'm after finding the best and then trying to leverage them because they're the experts. I'm not one to kind of know the ins and out. I think, fault or not fault, but trust the team quite a lot in terms of being able to deliver and actually doing the right thing in my best interest. But I think there's some sort of accountability you have to have because you can't just pass the baton and say, oh, you guys go and deliver on this because things will fall over. So I think that's very important. But kind of bringing it back to in terms of where you found the most value in actually having people, like you said, you've been able to tap into people to kind of get advice and get things over the line because you know someone in the space. So what would you kind of say the value of that has been in your journey?
Priceless.
I mean, for you kind of cheated. He had a few on the podcast.
Yeah.
He's interviewed people, he's learned everything, he's absorbed.
You have your Nando's budget thing.
Oh yeah, I did have one which worked really well.
But now it's changed. Now he's like,
now it's like, no, you got to pay me.
Harrod's budget.
I think it's been priceless. Because even if it's one little thing like, hey, the builders said this is the correct way, tell me what the right way is, that could have saved me thousands of
Why do you trust people who comment on Instagram and just tell you, those...
Geniuses, man, geniuses. So honestly, I cannot, it would easily run into the tens, if not hundreds of thousands of how much I've sort of been able to save or make or kind of cumulatively create in equity because of my network. So basically it's priceless because it gets higher and higher.
I think for me, it's been a massive, I think for me that was a game changer, being able to network and have people kind of bounce ideas off, go to their investment areas, see their projects. Even if it's paid on, again, people are like, oh yeah, if I don't want to, this guy's asking me to pay for his time, whether it's a consultation call, whether it's a a site visit. I'm like, that site visit, that consultation call, all you really need to do is have one piece of information that's going to help you on your journey. And that's a game changer alone. It's like, people need to kind of take away the whole I'm paying a fee.
Yeah.
It's what's the gain? And actually me being paying this fee and actually getting this exposure.
It's ROI on it, it's an investment into something you could get from it. And you might not, but if you've done your research, you should.
Yeah, exactly.
You really should.
What would you say from your...
For me, I think, like, people always say to me, why do you travel to Birmingham so much? Because I'm in South Wales. It's like, because of networking. Like,
you just had the desserts in Birmingham. I saw you were yesterday eating ice cream.
You should see my face. I was like this, like, the happiest kid alive. But yeah, it's networking. Like, you can meet all these different kinds of people, different levels of journey.
Yeah.
You go regularly, you get known, you see people growing. Your video earlier on Instagram about seeing people develop and stuff.
Yeah.
Was that last night or yesterday?
It was yesterday. Last night, like when I got home midnight.
And like, you see people develop on their journey. So even if you're not doing business, it doesn't matter. You still, there's a relationship building, and you may need their help at some point. They may need your help. And it's true. Building relationships, man.
One question for you, like, obviously you've been exposed to so many lenders. How do you actually network with lenders? How do you come across lenders? How do you get in the door?
So, look, I arrange a lot of ice cream meetings, genuinely, like...
Flipping out. That's cheap.
No, but they score me ice cream.
They're fancy ice creams. They're proper, you open a menu.
I will go next time.
All right, cool.
No, so look, like lenders employ BDMs, business development managers. Their job is to go on the road, come to the office. Okay. I'll tell you right now, a meeting in an office is boring as I don't care. Like.
Yeah.
So when I have a meeting with Shaz, it's coffee house or cake shop or dessert shop, and we just talk real talk. Like
it's different.
And it's about relationship building. So actually, I know if I need they're not going to bend the rules, but if I need a favor, if I need a hand, they're going to be there because they've met the real me. Like,
yeah, I see what you mean.
And I've experienced that. I've experienced his relationships changing things that have benefited me financially and mentally as well.
I think that's what that's what I'm paying you for. I'm paying for your relationship with the lender.
And property as well.
Not necessarily just being a broker. Because I feel like the relationships is gold, literally. Because again, you might know them really personally and therefore can get them on board.
Yeah. Anyone who says they've had coffee with what's his name from Together?
What's his name?
Mark Goldberg.
Mark Goldberg, that's it.
Yeah, he has coffee with everyone. Doesn't make a difference. So.
Well, actually, he invited me to a
there you go.
5-star dinner actually in the hotel owned by Ryan Giggs and them in Manchester.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen so many brokers say I've had coffee with the guy from Together. It's like, and everyone has. Like
he does he's very charming. Yeah. You kind of fall for it a little bit when you're with him. He's big up to him.
But I think networking is really important.
Question for you though, Alfred, because people know you as being quite business focused. Alfred Cardone, I've heard him referred to in the scene.
10x.
No, 12x for Alfred, sorry. 10x is too little. So you're quite focused on the goals and business.
Yes.
But obviously what you said there is the human element of networking, right? Like just seeing people and do you enjoy and do you find the human element, because we're sitting at home, most of us working alone.
Yeah.
Do you find that really helps you survive in business and thrive in business? For
me, I'm quite sociable. I like to socialize, so any opportunity to kind of meet people, speak to people, don't need to necessarily know of you. I can just meet someone anywhere, even in the airport. I'll just have a chit chat with someone, and just because you never know what that person knows, or when you start speaking about your ambitions, what you want to do. Because normally, the first question, what do you do, and then you kind of babble on, and then they might bounce back and say, oh, I know someone that does this. So I'm always very open. I'm always willing to kind of just share, just because you just never know what can come out of it. So for me, I'm big on that.
Now, you're networking. You mentioned before all this driving around and stuff. I find that long, mainly because I can't do long drives. I get so sleepy. But social media versus real life networking, because we're all active on social media. You've been more recently kind of shot to fame. Wow!
I'm a 2 year
mooning. 2 year old. You get Bitcoin, you're going to the moon.
Where's Shaz? The coin.
So that'd be I'd buy that. So what are your thoughts then on because I'm obviously very heavily social.
Yeah. So you're social first. No, so I think I'm like a 2 year overnight success. Thanks. No, I think it's and I've said this before on different platforms. I think you've got to do those things together. So network physically. Follow up on social media, be consistent in both, because then people will see you active. Yeah. You get known, recognized. So my kind of, I don't really have a plan or a method, but my thing is to post. Maybe if there's so if there's an event next week, right?
Yeah.
Chances are on Facebook there's an event page. Chances are there's a list of people who go in.
True.
Get in the DMs. Hey, I see you're going to this event. I'm going there too. Just pre-network a little bit. When you get there, there's at least 5 people who know kind of who you are because you've already spoken to them already, and it breaks the ice. It's a lot easier for me because I'm not comfortable speaking to new people, if I'm honest.
So he's moving like a chick. He wants to be approached.
I want to be approached, yeah. I want people to be like,
The
hey,
guy is standing there, is waiting your approach.
I'm the guy on my phone pretending I'm busy because I can't. Like, it's nothing worse than like, hey, what are you here for? The same thing you are, idiot.
Just
like,
do it. Come on, man. That's a negative way of thinking. Just go in and say, hi, guys, you're right.
Yeah, no, but you know what I mean.
And that's
I'm quite
usually
reluctant
your
to
break
do that
ice.
stuff,
I like your warming up. I used to do that when I first started out, warm people up.
Pre-networking.
Yeah, I like pre-networking. Just a quick little message. Because it makes them feel quite... Because a lot
they
of
might be
people
in the
are
same
nervous.
position
Like,
as you.
yeah, a lot of people
And the other thing
are.
I do as well is like, again, say there's, I don't know, there's a networking event next week. And if I've got a client who I've not met before, but they're in that area, I'll say, look, do you want to meet up before this event or even at the event? Because if we don't get along, at least there's an event that you might enjoy. You know what I mean?
They
It's
are.
like-
This guy just, I think you're thinking too much.
No, it's good though. It works, honestly. Trust me.
It does every time just been seeing a client, just seen a client. So it works, man.
I think I just want to touch on just the fact that COVID obviously happened and social media became even more important.
It was the thing.
It got a bit too much for me, man. Everyone's doing like lives and reels.
No, but for me, I think it was a game changer because
exploded your stuff,
if I didn't kind of get on social media, maybe even started prior to COVID, I would have struggled to raise finance. A lot of my deals wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
So me being able to not necessarily meet people in person and just doing the social media stuff.
How were you doing it before in terms of trying to raise finance?
Just having physical meetings. Like obviously get some sort of interaction to start off, show the interest, and then we'll have a physical meeting. There was no such thing of let's do a Zoom call. But now I don't even want to meet anybody. I want to do a Zoom call.
See, I don't like Zoom calls.
Look,
I hate Zoom.
I've
I
borrowed.
don't want to meet people. I can't be able to drive. So I'm just like, we'll do nothing. We'll just not meet.
But honestly, I've interacted with my investors who've actually lent me money and I've paid them back and never still, on to this day, I haven't met them.
Yeah.
But obviously, we're due to, if we were to kind of, actually now things are open, organise a meet-up, I'd love to do it. But just, for me, social media has been powerful and I couldn't thank it enough.
I'd say a large majority of business, 90% from TED's referrals.
What can I say?
What about me? What about me?
You're the attempt.
What?
No, I think a large percentage is social media. From people in my DMs, heard about you from TED, heard about you from Alfred or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the rest is networking things. Like I don't pay for any advertising. I don't pay for anything.
That's
I
good,
don't
man.
think you need to. That's the power of social media. Like you don't. I mean,
so the
ads are
return on
good,
investment on
but-
social media is infinite because you don't pay to post.
Well, if
just
you
post.
if you put if we put your hourly rate,
I suppose.
creating it, then there is a percentage. But I still think if you're doing it right, it's gonna blast your. You know what I mean? It's
And the
bigger than
thing
your
is,
investment.
like people say to me, you're on Instagram a lot. I don't post that often. You know, I don't post that often.
You don't post up until every.
But
quarter.
I'm interacting a lot in DMs and comments. That's
Yeah.
how it works for me. I don't post a lot.
No, you don't have to. I think interaction does play a big part as well, so that's good enough. But yeah, guys, next topic, I think the last topic, property education. Paid versus
So
freebies.
my mindset on it has changed quite a lot. I used to, when I first started into like full-on specialist finance and this whole world and bubble,
Yeah.
I used to be like, everyone, why is these people charging 20 grand for this course? Like, it's a lot of money. And
Yeah.
who the hell is Simon Zucci? Why is everyone just like saying something like, because I'm quite with the pin guys, right? But as I've learned a lot more, I get it, and it's supply and demand. If someone thinks a lease option course is worth 10 grand and they want to pay for it, then crack on. What's wrong with it? He's given the value.
Yeah.
I think where things fall apart is the after sales and the customer service, as it were. So if someone isn't working, a lot of it is down to the people learning. You have to take action.
Yes.
But if there's like an accountability thing, or if they come to the coach and say, "I need help," afterwards, and it's like, nah, always going to cost you more. I think that's where the failings are. I think the value is what you think it's worth because it's not a physical product. It's learning and education. But
Yeah, I think people associate the big fee to kind of getting like, in a minute, I need your help. So therefore I have to because I've spent 20 grand.
yeah,
But these companies obviously have thousands of, if not hundreds, or if they're small, whatever they are, people to kind of support. So it's not as easy. And I think some of the companies do lack some sort of support system post teaching the course. And that's where they upsell. They feel like, okay, well, we've taught you.
now you want to be part of that inner circle.
Yeah.
You know.
So the
And it's
upsell.
in an inner circle.
Yeah,
It's just inner.
Inner.
There's
There's no.
I was speaking to Rick Gannon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
So,
on my podcast, I've got a podcast. So Rick Gannon was telling me that when people want to sign up for his course,
Yes.
his team will call them beforehand, qualify them financially and also mentally, just to make sure they're ready.
Okay.
He goes probably turn away more people than they actually let on.
That's different.
yeah.
I
And
don't really know many people that actually do that level of vetting before even.
Yeah.
no, they don't. Not with a course, because a course is like, with mentoring, that level of vetting is
Yes.
always kind of should be more standard. But
yeah,
with a
yeah.
course, I feel like people don't, because it's easy on the other end it's easy, but it's also the truth to say like what we're saying, which is you didn't take action, well, which is true. And there's always a balance of one group on Facebook saying, oh, this course was shit, another group saying this course was amazing. one group took action, one group didn't, and it's quite obvious which one is which. I think like if I look at my own e-learning, right, like there's probably there's quite a few people who've done it 4 or 5 weeks later, whatever. I've got my first buy-to-let, got my first BRR. But then there's people I never hear from again. There's people who, oh, Tej, I'm struggling, this, that, and the other. And you kind of have to look at it and say, well, there's one variable here, and there's one thing that isn't variable. The course is not a variable. It doesn't change. It is what it is. How you then take it away and what you do with it is a variable. There's obviously many other factors, but I think a lot of people can do an average course and then go on to do really good things, but the average course doesn't really encourage them. So it's so complex, right? But there are a lot of people who don't take action, talking to you, and
judging you,
and they just blame. And that's why I made that thing on Instagram yesterday, because it's amazing to see people like in our group 3-4 years later, I haven't seen them, and to be like, you got how many? You've done what?
Yeah.
Like that's 3% of people who talk. Everyone talks, but not everyone walks.
But you've spent a lot of money on your personal development.
Yeah,
and he's walking big time. He's power walking.
I was big on like, I guess if I kind of want to make this point of, you've got to understand how you learn best, because not everybody can sit in the classroom and absorb information as well. So if you know that's not you, then don't go and spend the money, because the result will still be zero. So why spend the money if you know that's not for you? So I think understanding how you learn best as well.
Yeah. Be self-aware.
So for me, obviously, I committed to kind of spending 25 grand initially to start my property journey and getting educated in that. And it was just simply because I had spent the same amount of money on my university degree, got a great job, paying well, having fun, blah, blah. And that got me to a certain level in my life. So I'm like, okay, this is like another university course. I'm going to go learn this, and I'm going to try and apply the information I've learned. It's taking me a lot more money. And for me, in my case, worked out. But again, I think it came from like me having that self-belief already to kind of say, this is going to happen regardless. All I needed was the information to go and implement it. And I think if you're someone that's kind of doubting, oh, why does it cost so much? Am I going to get property at the end of this? Then it's probably not for you. You kind of have to have that belief that you just need that nudge or that information. And I think more importantly as well, I think what helped massively is also the network. So with these companies, with them having already people on the courses and stuff, you're exposed to other people in the network who are ahead of you. So if I'm someone, I just need to see someone to believe it. Like if I know you, Tej, you've done this, I'm like, okay, me and you, Tej, we're not any different. So you've just given me the ammo to believe that it's possible, and therefore I can go and do it as well, as long as I follow the right information and get there basically. So for me, the network bit was even the plus bit, because now it's actually, okay, great, not just some guy at the front of the class talking about how you can go buy these houses, but there's actually people in the community who have actually gone and done it and can show you that they've done it. Do you get it? So for me, I can't fault it, and I wouldn't take it back. I am where I am because of what I did. Let's
show people an example, because you said, if people question the price, let's talk about value, yeah? One of your HMOs, if you did sell it,
yes,
because people do buy them, give me roughly how much profit would it make you?
There's at least, most of them got 100k equity in it easily.
100k, that's 6 figures, yeah?
Yeah.
And the rental income is what? A grand a month, grand and a half?
Net 1,500, 2,000.
Okay, from one building. Okay. Now, so that's a better example than I thought it'd be. So we've got a 6-figure profit here. My latest flip should make 40 to 60k profit. Put them together. It's a lot of money. Are you not going to pay us £1,000 or £2,000 to learn what we're doing to make that much money? That's one of his deals and one of my deals. That's what I'm going to say.
So guys, do you think also there's like a common personality trait? Like obviously, speaking to both of you, you do different strategies. You do BRR, flips and single lets, you do HMOs.
Yeah.
But you're both persistent, assertive. I won't say aggressive, that's the wrong word, but you're both like really driven.
Relentless, handsome, charming. I mean, we can go on if we want.
Whatever it takes.
A lot of relentless self-belief, I think is the words I would use.
Yes.
Is that a common thing, do you think, in people who succeed?
I think it is the thing.
Yeah, I feel like you've got to have that mindset wherever it takes. You're going to go all the way to make it happen. Without that, I don't think you get anywhere really, because this journey does get really, really hard. I think people, I know courses, go buy some property tomorrow, you can be making £1,000, £2,000 from a property. I get it, they need to sell. So nobody's going to go to a course or go and sit or listen to someone if they're saying it's the hardest thing ever in the world. You've got to be relentless, you've got to keep going. You might have a deal fall through. You might do 100 viewings before you get your first one accepted. Nobody's going to sell that. That's not... It's not
attractive, is it?
It's not attractive. So I get it, but there needs to be some level of realness as well that comes with it. So I think that's one thing I would say.
I try to add into that. This might sound like a sales pitch, but it generally isn't. With people who have this kind of personality, this is where it's actually handy to have a broker in the middle to manage that when it comes to speaking to the lender. Like I've had it for yourself. where then I've had to reword it, soften it a little bit.
You rewrote the whole thing, basically. Took out every swear word, every...
Phone calls with you where it's like, Shaz, no, this is...
Oh yeah, he knows how to set up community like Shaz. No, I'm not someone that takes the whole we can't do this or can't be done. Yeah. When I know it can be done, like, let's go and speak and let's.
If we know it, we're going to challenge it, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think you know your point about value. Yeah. I know for a fact I could sell more of my e-learning. But you know why I don't? Because I say what you say. I say on the front page, I say, look, you're going to have to do this, you're going to have to do this. Piss off if you're not ready to do hard work. Yeah. And therefore, I don't sell as many as I could, but I can't say that because I know it's not true. Yeah. And I know that I'd rather just make less but be honest, which obviously a lot of trainers don't. I didn't say any names.
Indirects them, but
I'm not trying to get libel or slander.
All right, guys, I think it's been an amazing session with you guys. But just for anybody else who doesn't know who you are, where can they find you?
I'm on socials at Wes Shaz.
I'm on everything at Tej Talks.
This guy is everywhere, literally. So I think both, to be fair, you're now on socials, so like, mate, everybody knows who you are. He is a good broker, guys. If you do need a broker, he's who I use on my deals. So I'm just pushing him, but I genuinely actually use him.
Me too.
But yeah, guys, it's been good. And guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.